Sus Mar Yosep. Hey video guys, so I'm coming at you with another video in my Maverick series, making videos really controversial kinda, and today we're talking about a restaurant in DC called Barkada. Ooh, the caucasity, the cultural appropriation, the colonizers, and wait, I'm kinda in favor of this. So let's get into this. But of course, if you're new to this channel, what up? My name is Mitch, Maverick Mitch, hey Mitch, all the Mitches, and pretty much I like talking about what I talk about. So, reviews, current events, pop culture within the scope of entertainment, culture, and purpose. So again, I like talking about what I talk about. So, TV movie reviews, I got those. I am checking out A Brave New World. So far, saw the first episode. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of graphic, like nudity, but so far, first episode, I'm interested to see where this TV show is going, so I'll let you know, I'll do a review. Likewise, I do pop culture and social commentary, so this video as well as other videos, if should Filipinos leave the Democratic Party, so be sure to check out those videos as you are finishing this video. So here's what's going on. So we have like these 4 white guys up in Washington DC that named their winery, bar, restaurant Barkada. For those who don't know, Barkada means group of friends, your crew, clique in Tagalog Filipino. So they're getting a lot of blowback, backlash, cancel culture from more SJW types, right? And because their argument is that it's cultural appropriation, it is stealing our culture, it's colonizer, the caucasity of them using a Filipino word for them not being Filipino, right? So initially, I actually kind of thought like, you know, there was a surface level like initial gut reaction, like there was like a part of me like, oh wow, that kind of sounds kind of sucky, because you know it's somewhat natural, right, to be protective of your culture, you know, especially if someone is incorporating it. But when you break it down some more, it's not really offensive because they're just using the name Barkada, right? And then in their description they wanted to use something, you know, a group of friends, a clique, whatever, and they just wanted to see which words can use that. And Barkada is a great word to use because, you know, Filipino culture is all about hospitality, all about friendship, you know, all about like coming together. And so like for them to use Barkada is actually somewhat kind of flattering. The argument, so additionally, they're not using anything that's Filipino motif, decor, or anything, right? And so like the sign doesn't have like a Filipino man or Filipino woman or Filipinos in general, right? All together, you know, there's nothing in the menu that's Filipino, there's no drinks that is like Filipino themed or anything. It's just, they're just using the name Barkada. And then for people who are opposing this, they're like, they're seeing that as a negative, but for me, I'm looking at that is the most basic thing. They're just using the name Barkada. For the people who are offended, they're like saying, well, there isn't anything Filipino about it. And then I'm like, exactly. They're just using the name, right? Sus Mar Yosep, right? Like, how sensitive do you need to be, right? Like, how, like, in this world of cancel culture and being offended about everything, there's so much more bigger problems in the world, and you choose this to be offended by? Like, really, like, and again, it's kind of like flattering. They're using a Filipino word. At what point can you use, like, when you can't use a word? Like, if they wanted to use a word tsunami, or if you want to use a word rendezvous, like, they are actually bringing a Filipino word into like the mainstream, right? And so how kind of cool is that? And it's a positive word. It's Barkada, right? They're not doing anything derogatory. There's nothing negative that they're using this in a negative light. They're just using a positive word and they're bringing a Filipino word, right, to the mainstream. So isn't the left all about diversity and sharing culture? Now you're putting us in boxes and labels and like stay in your lane. Like how does that make sense? Like I said before, like there's a level in which you want to be protective, but when you break it down, it like, yes, they're not Filipinos who created this who created this winery, right? But it's kind of, I think it's flattering that they're using a Filipino word, you know, like that's kind of cool. So what's actually kind of cool is that there's 2 camps right now. Okay, the Huffington Post has picked this up and they wrote an article, and to that benefit, I guess, there was a Filipino writer about it. So it wasn't just a white person trying to be offended for a group of Filipinos. So I give somewhat credit to that, but at the same time, there is like this a group of Filipinos who are like saying like it's offensive, but I feel like on the other camp there's a lot of other Filipinos vocaling out that this isn't anything bad. They're kind of happy that they're using a Filipino word, that they are willing to outreach and look into other cultures, and they decided to go with the Filipino word, right? Because it does mean like friendship, and there's something warm about it, and obviously it has bar in it, so Barkada, it does work, right? It's very marketable, right? And it's a good talking point, right? What does Barkada mean? Oh, it's a Filipino word. Oh, it's Filipino, so like I don't think there's a downside, and I'm glad there's people being vocal about it. So the store owners actually put out a statement saying like, hey, we're gonna change the name, but a lot of people are being vocal about not changing the name. So what I'll do is I'll link the site below, like their like page or whatever. I'll link that below. I'll also link a petition to keep the name if you so feel like you want to be a part of that. And pretty much go to the like page, see for yourself if you feel like these guys are being genuine, if you feel like these guys are appropriating Filipino culture, or they're just a group of guys just trying to make a business and they decided to use a Filipino word, right? And so make it for yourselves, and I'll link everything below. I mean, once again, this shouldn't be news, but it's news. I guess it's more news because obviously it deals with more with the Filipino culture side of me, and so I'm hearing a lot more of it than you would have if you're not Filipino. But again, like, I think I think people are blowing this up way into bigger proportions than it really is. And, I'm in the boat in which, I can see how people can take it offensive, but if they really broke it down, like, this isn't anything offensive. If we're all about diversity and sharing cultures, then this isn't bad. Like, and especially when there isn't anything derogatory being used here, right? So final thoughts, I'm gonna leave this off with Filipino values. One thing that we are about is hospitality and community, kababayan, and I think if you disagree with this, comment below, let me know what you think. Like, let me know how this is cultural appropriation when they're just using the name, right? You can say that they're saying, Barkada means boat people and they're capitalizing on this and whatever, but like at the same time, Filipino in itself was only, OG Filipino was only used for Spanish natural born that was in the Philippines, right? So like natural born Filipinos, indigenous Filipinos weren't even called Filipinos. So like if we want to go like really like OG about that, like then we have to go there. And also talking about like appropriation, people have also mentioned this. Like, Filipino is an amalgam of different cultures anyway, right? So like when it comes to lumpia, it's coming from China, egg rolls and all this stuff. So there's all that conversation too. Again, I'm pretty much digressing there, but larger point is I think we could share our culture. I think there's something more to say as Filipinos. If you agree that they shouldn't change their name, like this should be an opportunity that Filipinos should be more in the mainstream, right? Like Filipinos should be as welcoming as our culture is. We have a culture about like come to our house and eat, and and so we should be welcoming about this. And I encourage other Filipino Americans to be like signing the petitions and being vocal about this and being like, hey, there's nothing, look for yourself first, of course. Look if you feel like these guys are genuine about this and everything, and see if you think this is actually coming out of a good nature versus something that's derogatory and something that I would call as even yuppie, stealing our culture. And a part of me would see that, but there's nothing Filipino about this other than the name, and I think the name is cool, right? So you already have a word like tsunami, a Japanese word that means harbor wave in the English vernacular. Like you can go to East Coast, West Coast, whatever, everyone knows what a tsunami is, right? They may not know it actually means harbor wave, but they know what it is. It's a tsunami. It's a tsunami. But like, how cool would it be to have like just in English vernacular Barkada? Like, like everyone, if I could say Amigos, like everyone knows that just means your friends, right? So how cool would it be, like you can just say Barkada, without saying my crew, my clique, my Barkada, right? And it's just so easy to say that, right? And it's so as easy to say as rendezvous and bouquet and other words that has been, foreign words that has been adopted to the English vernacular, and to have a Filipino word to be in it. Actually, a word that's actually kind of Filipino is boondocks. It means kabundukan, which means the mountains. So I think it was when the Americans was in the Philippines and they took boondocks into it. So that was actually something that I thought about when the TV show cartoon Boondocks, I thought it was going to be about Filipinos, and when it wasn't, right? And then and I guess there's a point there. People thought it was going to be something Filipino, but when it's misleading. But well. Awesome, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please share, like, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. You can also follow me in my Instagram at HeyMitch. You can also follow me in my joint Instagram at It's Mandatory Fun, where I do other videos with my friend Jen. I'm also on Parlor, Maverick Mitch, so be sure to follow that as too. And see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you.
I ain't feeling lonely, and I wanna admit it's time to end the ride.